These are the shocking habits everyone in the league hates, driven by high-stakes sports endorsements and controversial sports psychology. From strange superstitions to rituals that cross the line, some players push boundaries in ways you won't believe. Stick around till the end because the final ritual will blow your mind and change how you see the game. Kobe Bryant was one of the biggest names in sport, but when it came to his pre-game rituals, there's one story that left jaws on the floor and sent shivers down the spines of his opponents. Sure, we've heard stories about Kobe's insane dedication, like when he purposely exhausted himself to freak out his teammates, or Iman Shumpert's famous moment stealing the ball from him. But all that pales in comparison to the haunting ritual that made everyone question if Black Mamba was, well, a little too intense. So, Kobe once revealed in an interview how he'd get into the zone before big games. And let me tell you, when people heard this, they were shook. You're expecting a pump-up anthem or something, right? Nah, Kobe didn't want hype. He wanted to become a psycho. And how did he do it? By blasting the Halloween theme song, the eerie, spine-chilling tune from the horror movie where Michael Myers is out for blood. Kobe embraced a unique approach to high-end sportswear. No lyrics, no beats, just pure terror. And when people found out about this side of Kobe, let's just say they weren't exactly fans. Even the most hardcore Kobe supporters had to admit it was kind of creepy. Some guys just straight up hated this vibe. They couldn't believe that one of the most respected players in NBA history was mentally transforming into a stone-cold movie villain before taking the court. It felt dark, almost unsettling, like Kobe was channeling something more than just competitiveness. Fans were disturbed, thinking, is this what it takes to be great? To embrace your inner psycho? Some critics even went as far as to suggest that Kobe was flirting with something sinister, with fans commenting about how much it reeked of the occult. The calm, cold stare, the ruthless mentality. Suddenly, that Mamba stare everyone feared didn't just seem competitive anymore, it seemed otherworldly. This wasn't the Kobe they idolized, it was someone darker, more terrifying, and people weren't sure if they loved it or feared it. But while Kobe got into the mindset of a psycho, Kawhi Leonard chose another route completely. When Kawhi was with the Raptors, it was pretty normal stuff, getting dressed, stretching, maybe some tunes. But when Kawhi joined the Clippers in 2019, things got weird. Brace yourself for this. Kawhi kicks all the women out of the women's bathroom just so he can have it all to himself, creating a private zone like a sports lifestyle sanctuary. And as if that wasn't strange enough, he even stations the entire training staff outside to guard the door like it's some sort of secret lair. No one, and I mean no one, dares to interrupt him while he's in there. Even his own teammates and coaches thought it was downright bizarre, but who's gonna tell a guy making millions to stop? Yeah, no chance. Apparently, this is still how Kawhi does things today. Jovan Bua from The Athletic did a deep dive into why the Clippers' championship dreams crumbled and this weird bathroom ritual, and let's just say it didn't help Leonard's case. Kawhi's special treatment rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Players, coaches, and staffers were all aware of it, and many of them felt seriously uncomfortable. Imagine this. You're a female staffer who just needs to, use the bathroom or grab something from the locker room, and boom. You can't because Kawhi's in there stretching like it's his private sanctuary. At least one player vented to a confidant, and at least one staff member complained. But what were they supposed to do? It's Kawhi freaking Leonard. It wasn't like there was any malicious intent, but let's face it, the optics were terrible. Women being barred from their own space just because Kawhi needed to do his pre-game stretches? Yikes. No one wanted to make a scene about it though. You don't cross Kawhi, the team's golden star, and that's what made the whole situation so awkward. Even if they hated it, what could they do? It's Kawhi. You don't mess with that guy. But while Kawhi's bathroom antics left people scratching their heads, Bill Russell's pregame ritual took things to a whole new level of bizarre. If Kawhi was all about his private sanctuary, Russell's method was pure gut-wrenching chaos. Literally. Russell had a pregame ritual that was as intense as his play on the court, and let me tell you, it wasn't pretty. Driven by performance data analysis and a gut-wrenching method to get into the zone. You see, no matter how many championships or MVPs this guy had under his belt, nerves got the best of him before every game, a testament to his pro basketball dedication. And his way of dealing with it? violent, gut-wrenching vomiting. Yeah, you heard that right. Russell would puke his guts out before every single tip-off. Sounds gross, right? Well, it was. But here's the kicker. His teammates weren't concerned at all. In fact, they were relieved. That's when they knew their leader was locked in and about to dominate. Even the legendary coach, Red Auerbach, wouldn't let him hit the court until he heard the familiar sound of Russell losing his lunch. That's how superstitious they were about it. No puke, no game. It was that serious. As gross as it sounds, for Russell, puking was like hitting the reset button, flushing out the nerves so he could give his best on the hardwood. And boy, did he ever. With 11 championships and 5 MVPs, this guy was a living, breathing trophy machine. It became so legendary that even Wilt Chamberlain mentioned it in his autobiography. Wilt, who was all about racking up stats, couldn't help but notice just how seriously Russell took every game. To Bill, every game was a life-or-death challenge, a test of his manhood, and the pre-game puking, that was just part of the process. And while his teammates found comfort in the sound of Bill heaving in the locker room, his opponents absolutely hated it. They knew if Russell was puking, it meant he was in full beast mode, and the Celtics were about to walk all over them. It was like a bad omen. Once the vomiting started, so did the winning. But not everyone loved this ritual. Behind the scenes, there were definitely people who were weirded out by how intense Russell's pregame freakouts were. Imagine being in that locker room, watching your captain literally vomit before battle. It wasn't for the faint of heart, and many found it downright unsettling. But hey, when you're talking about an 11-time champ, who's going to argue with the results? Even if they hated it, they respected it. Red Auerbach certainly did. He wouldn't let the team play without it. And that's why Russell will forever be known as the guy who could throw up, then go out and throw down. While Bill was hurling his guts out, LeBron was tossing chalk into the air in one of the most iconic pregame rituals in NBA history, a flashy move that contrasts with the advanced sports gear trends. Fans love it, advertisers adore it, and it's even been immortalized in video games. But let's be real here, those who know the real origins of the chalk toss, yeah, they're not as thrilled. Why? Because they remember Michael Jordan started it all, and to them, LeBron's version just doesn't carry the same weight. When MJ did it, it wasn't just for show. It had meaning. He began using chalk to improve his grip, but then it evolved into a way for him to poke fun at the media, messing with the announcers who complained about the dust flying everywhere. It was vintage Jordan, playful, calculated, and always with that extra edge. But LeBron's take on the ritual? Sure, it's flashy and it gets the crowd hyped, but for those who watched MJ pioneer it, LeBron's version feels like it's missing something. KG even had his own spin on the chalk toss, using it to throw shade at writers he had beef with. He loaded up his hands with chalk and flung it at reporters, not for fun, but as a low-key way to retaliate. So when he saw LeBron using the move just to get fans pumped, it felt hollow to him. In Garnett's words, "What a shame, all that chalk and not a single pissed-off writer to show for it." For people who know the backstory, MJ's chalk toss had a purpose, a blend of preparation and mental warfare. LeBron's, on the other hand, feels more like a spectacle. It's cool, it's fun, but it's missing the grit and emotion that Jordan and even KG brought to it. So which of these rituals do you think went way too far, and which ones are just part of the NBA madness influenced by the world of sports sponsorships and elite athletes? Let me know in the comments. And if you thought these pregame routines were wild, trust me, the next video will blow your mind. Click on the video on screen now and don't forget to follow for a taco.